Now, whenever I say that nanomaterials are nothing but the particles whose dimensions are of the order of some nanometers. Okay, particle whose size is of the order of some nanometer. So please remember that whenever I say that the size of the particle is some nanometers, I mean that any one of the dimension of any material, any one of the dimension of any material or any particle, if it is in the nano range, then that particular material will be called as a nanomaterial, because any material or any particle in general will be having three different sizes. It will be having length, it will be having breadth, and it will be having thickness or the height. Okay, because all material particles are a three-dimensional particle, so it will having the three dimensions. So out of these three dimensions, if any one of the dimension is in the nano range, if any one of the dimension is in the nano range, then that particular materials will be called as a nanomaterials. Okay, that particular materials will be called as a nanomaterials. Now depending on this, nanomaterials can be classified into various categories. There are different types of the materials, nanomaterials. So now we shall see the types of the nanomaterials. Okay, so there are nanomaterials which can be classified as zero dimensional nanomaterials. 0D. 0D means what? Zero dimensional nanomaterials. There are nanomaterials which are called as 1D nanomaterials or one dimensional nanomaterials. There are the nanomaterials which are called as two dimensional nanomaterials or 2D nanomaterials. Similarly, we can have 3D nanomaterials also or three dimensional nanomaterials also. Now what is the meaning of 0D, 1D, 2D and 3D? So 0D materials or zero dimensional materials are those for which all dimensions of materials are in nano range. Means if we have a material and its all dimensions, length, breadth and height, if its all the dimensions are in the nano range, then such a materials will be called as zero dimensional nanomaterials. Such a materials will be called as a zero dimensional nanomaterials. Okay. Now nano range means what again? It's one of means it's all the dimensions should be of the order of 0 to 100 nanometers. Okay, this is not the strict definition, but we will adhere with this particular definition, that if the materials having a dimension ranging from 0 nanometer to 100 nanometer, okay, up to the 100 nanometer, not 0 nanometer is not possible, up to the 100 nanometer, then such a materials will be called as a nanomaterials. And in that, if all the dimensions are having the nano range, then such a materials will be called as a zero dimensional nanomaterials. The examples are quantum dots. Okay, just I have explained you the quantum dots of ZNO, which are used in the furnace creams, and very other applications are also there. Okay, these particular nanomaterials are also used in the solar cells. Okay, we can build the solar cells out of these nano crystals. Okay, so the shape of these nanomaterials, these nanoparticles are generally in the spherical type. So you see its length will be in the nano range, its breadth will be in the nano range, and its height will also be in the nano range. So such a devices is called as a quantum dots. Quantum dots means what? If a nanoparticle is having a spherical type of shape, okay, spherical type of shape means what? All the dimensions will be in the nano range, then such a type of material will be called as a quantum dots. So there is a quantum dots of zinc oxide, there is a quantum dots of various semiconductors, there is a quantum dots of gold nanoparticles, there is a quantum dots of silver nanoparticles. Okay, you see, if you see the fantastic properties of the nanoparticles is that if you synthesis, normally if you see the silver, what is the color? The color is silver. Okay, and if you see the gold, then the color of the gold is yellowish type. But if you make the nanoparticles of gold, nanoparticles of silver, then you can find the blue colored gold, you can find the red colored gold. Okay, so color is a very different property, means if you change the dimension of such a nanoparticles, you will get the different colors. So such a fantastic imaging properties are with the nanoparticles. Okay, So such a particles are called as a quantum dots. Essentially, quantum dots means what? A nanoparticle which is having very small or narrow dimensions. Okay, and all the dimensions should be in the nano range. So this is 0-dimensional quantum dots, right? 1-dimensional nanoparticle. What is the meaning of 1-dimensional nanoparticle? So all dimensions except one, if all the dimensions except one are in nano range, then such a materials will be called as a 1-dimensional materials. Understood? All dimensions except one. Normally, how many dimensions the material will be having? It will be having 3 dimensions. So 3 dimensions except one means what? 2 dimensions will be in the nano range and 1 dimension will be in the bulk range, okay, or bigger range, right? So if the 2 dimensions are in the nano range, then such a materials will be called as a 1-dimensional nanomaterials. The example is nanowires. Actually, there is a nanowire which is made with the help of carbon material. Now you see, carbon exists in the 2 allotropic form. One is the graphite and another is the diamond. Why you see, if you see these 2 allotropic forms, they are having very huge different properties. If you see the nature of the graphite, then graphite has a layered structure. Okay, graphite has a layered structure. It is very ductile. It is very malleable. Okay, you can obtain the sheets out of the graphite material. You know that. Okay, we use the HB pencil with the which is being made with the help of graphite material only, right? But if you see the diamond, which is the another allotropic form of the carbon, diamond material is the hardest material that exists on the surface of the earth. Okay, so you see, the basic building block is the same, that is carbon material, but if the arrangement of the atoms changes, then you will get the different properties. One of the properties indicates that graphite is very ductile material, very malleable material, and if you see the another type, that is the diamond, then it is very hardest material, because in the diamond the structure of the arrangement of the atoms inside that particular material will be different. So arrangement of the atoms indicates the different properties. Okay, similarly, if you make the nano particle of the carbon, then one of the form of nanoparticle of the carbon is called as a nanotubes, carbon nanotubes, CNTs, carbon nanotubes. Now generally carbon is a insulating material. If you see the diamond also, if you see the graphite also, carbon is a insulating material. But when you fabricate the nanotubes of the carbon, okay, in the form of wires, then you will see that these carbon nanotubes are having highest conductivity. And people on the earth, they are trying to build wires out of these nanotubes, carbon nanotubes, so that they can be used for the transmission purpose, because these carbon nanotubes, they are having highest conductivity. Okay, they offer less resistance. There is very less loss of current through these particular wires. Once you send, it will be propagating without any loss. Okay, so you can get various advantages out of using these carbon nanotubes. Okay, and whenever I say that there is a wire means what? It will be having circular cross section. And it will be having some length. So you see that length is a bulk length. It is not in the nano range. So one of the dimension is not in the nano range. But if you see the cross section of the wire, then it will be having the length, thickness along this side, thickness along perpendicular side. So 2 sides will be in the nano range, and the one side, that is the length of that particular material, will be not in the nano range. Okay, so such a materials will be called as a 1-dimensional material, and the famous example is carbon nanotubes. Okay, there are so many fibers which are in the nano range. Okay, we can fabricate the fibers of polymers and so on, which are having very tremendous different applications, right? So this is about 1-dimensional nanomaterials. 2-dimensional nanomaterials, what should be the definition? All dimensions except 2 are in nano range. All the dimensions except 2 are in the nano range. Means what? Out of 3 dimensions, 1 dimension will be bulk and 2 dimensions will be nano. 2 dimensions will be nano. The example is thin film. Thin films, or just now I had explained that there is a coating on the surface of tawa. So that particular coating, you can see that only 1 dimension, that is thickness of that coating, is in the nano range, and remaining 2 dimensions will be in the bulk range. Okay, so any kind of film, suppose there is a glass surface, okay, and by some mechanism you can spray nanomaterials on this glass surface. So what will happen? On this glass surface there will be the generation of thin film. Okay, there will be the generation of thin film. So that thin film will have a dimension, or will have a thickness in the range of nano range, and remaining 2 dimensions will not be in the nano range. So such a devices are called as a 2-dimensional nanoparticles. Such a materials are called as a 2-dimensional nanoparticles. The examples are in the solar cells. Okay, so you can fabricate thin film of nanomaterial solar cell, thin film solar cells. Okay, and this can generate a huge power out of absorbing solar radiations. Okay, now there is a 3-dimensional nanoparticles. 3-dimensional nanoparticles means what? All dimensions are in bulk range, means are not in the nano range. Both the 3 dimensions are not in the nano range. Means what? Now if they are not in the nano range, then they should be called as a bulk particle, but no, we are calling it as a 3-dimensional 3D nanoparticle or 3D nanomaterial. Why? Because even if all the dimensions are not in the nano range, okay, suppose there are 3 dimensions, length, breadth and height, they are not in the nano range, okay, but all the directions in which the particles are situated, these particles are made with the help of nanomaterials. So there will be so many nanomaterials or nanoparticles, and they will be arranged in the 3 dimensions, so that on a bigger scale we will see that that is a bulk particle, but basically inside the bulk particle there will be the nanomaterials arranged in different directions. Okay, so such a materials will be called as a 3-dimensional nanoparticle or 3-dimensional nanomaterial. Okay, so these are the classification of nanomaterials based on the sizes. Okay, based on the direction of approach. Okay, so we introduced the field of nanotechnology. Okay, we have seen the basic definition of the nanomaterial, and we have also seen that how the nanomaterials are being classified according to the direction of sizes. Okay, means 0-dimensional nanoparticle nanomaterials, 1-dimensional nanomaterials, 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional nanomaterials. Now whenever I say that the size of the particle, if the size of the particle is in the nano range, then only that particular particle will be called as a nanoparticle. Now what is the meaning of this particular thing? Okay, now even if I say that that particle with the dimension of nano range, then only we can call it as a nanoparticle. Then the question should arise that how we are able to see those nanoparticles then, because we cannot see such a minute dimensions, no. Okay, and suppose there is a coating. When I say that there is a coating on the tawa, okay, there is a coating of the black surface on the tawa, then this coating is visible to me. Okay, the thickness of the coating is also visible to me comparatively. Then also why I am calling it as a nano devices or nano material, because then if it is visible to me, its dimension should be more than the nano range, no. Then why this particular material should be called as a nano material? So in order to understand what is the meaning of this nano particle, okay, or what is meant by the particle dimension, for this we need to consider this. We need to go to the synthesis of the materials, how the materials are being synthesized and how the dimensions are being, or how the sizes of the materials are being evolved, that we have to see first. Okay, Suppose that we want to fabricate or we want to synthesize a material of NaCl. We want to synthesize the material of NaCl. How we should synthesize it? So we have to consider this particular reaction, twice Na plus NaCl2, that will give me, twice Na plus chlorine gas. Okay, we will get twice NaCl. We will get twice NaCl. So if we want to make the salt out of sodium and the chlorine, then we need to take we need to consider this reaction first. Okay, what we will do, we will take the water in a beaker. We will take the water in a beaker. Okay, then we will pour the sodium ions. We will pour the sodium and then we will pour the chlorine, Na chlorine. Okay, now once these two materials are reacting, what will be the first thing which we will get? What will happen? One sodium atom will combine with one chlorine atom. Okay, or one sodium ion will combine with one other chlorine ion, and we will get NaCl. But what is this NaCl? This is the one molecule. This is the one molecule of NaCl. Okay, similarly another molecule will take the birth over here, another molecule will take birth over here, another molecule will take the birth, another molecule will take the birth. So first of all, molecules will be formed. Okay, now what is my target? I need to get the crystal of NaCl. So initially, while reaction between sodium and the chlorine, I got the molecule of NaCl. Now there are different molecules of NaCl. There are so many molecules of NaCl which have taken the birth just now. Okay, and we are going towards the crystal formation. How the crystal will be formed, that we are going to see. Now what will happen after that? After forming the molecule of NaCl, okay, so many NaCl molecules will combine together. Okay, they will combine together in one particular orientation, the orientation in which the crystal of NaCl is formed. Okay, you will get one of the unit cell of NaCl. Okay, for example, what we will consider? We will consider that NaCl crystal is having a unit cell of cube. Actually it is having a Rochelle salt structure. Okay, but for now we will imagine that the NaCl crystallizes in the cubic form, one of the cubic form, and suppose we are considering that it crystallizes in the simple cubic form. Okay, then what will happen? After getting these NaCl molecule, what will happen? One NaCl molecule will sit over here. This is only for understanding purpose. Real NaCl crystal will not form like this, but I am telling you the process of synthesizing the crystal, or the process in which we get the particle. Okay, so one NaCl molecule will sit over here, another NaCl molecule will sit over here, another NaCl molecule will sit over here, another molecule here. All the corners of the cube will be filled by the NaCl molecule. So what we get? At first time we got the NaCl molecule. When so many NaCl molecules come together because of the force of attraction, we get something which is called as unit cell. We get the something which is called as a unit cell of NaCl, which is of the cubic form. Now after getting unit cell of NaCl, what will happen? Only one unit cell will not be there, no? There will be so many unit cell. The formation of unit cell will take place in various places. Okay, so there will be the formation of so many unit cell over here and there. Then what will happen after that? 2 unit cell or 3 unit cell or 4 unit cell, they will attract each other and they will come close together. So there will be again attachment of the different unit cells. So there will be the growth of unit cell. Initially the growth of molecule was there. Then molecule was growing from molecule towards the formation of unit cell. Now once the unit cell has been formed, the unit cell is growing in all direction. It can grow in all the 3 dimensions. Okay, so it can grow over here, it can grow over here, and it can grow over here. So many unit cell will combine together and they will form which is called as particle. They will form which is called as a particle. So particle is nothing but the aggregation of so many unit cells. The aggregation of so many unit cells. This particle is also sometimes called as grains, particles or the grains. Remember that this whole thing, the aggregate of so many unit cells, is the particle, or it is called as a grain. Now whether there will be the formation of only one particle? No, there will be the formation of particle at so many places. So here some of the unit cell have come together and they have formed one particle. At some other place so many unit cell will come together and they will form another particle. Okay, at any other place so many unit cell will come together and they will form the other particle. So there will be the formation of particles or the grains at various places inside that particular solvents. Okay, inside that particular solvent, and all these things are called as a particles. Now normally what happens whenever we get the bulk material or bulk crystals, all these particles also, all these particles or all these grains also, they come together, they stick together and they form a bulk particle. They form a bulk particle. Okay, and they are sometimes also called as crystallites. They are sometimes also called as a crystallites. Okay, so in this way we get the crystal of NaCl. You see what is the process? The process is in that particular process, first we get the single molecule or so many molecules of NaCl. Then all these molecules arrange themselves in a particular fashion, which is called as a unit cell. After getting unit cell will grow in all the 3 dimensions. Okay, and after growing in all 3 dimensions we get the particle. Okay, and after that, after getting particles in so many places, all these particles or grains, they can also stick together and we get the bigger crystal or the crystallites or the bulk particles. Now what is mean by nanoparticle? Okay, you see, in order to understand the definition of nanoparticle, we need to come up to the formation of the particles. You see, so many unit cell has come together to form a particle. Okay, now if the dimension of this particle, is in the nano range, then that particular particle will be called as a nanoparticle. Then only that particular particle will be called as a nanoparticle. So this is the definition of particle. Okay, this is the definition of particle. This is not, the bigger thing will not be called as a particle. It should be called as a bulk particle or the crystallites. Okay, normally we call everything as a particle, but it is not like that. In the synthesis process, the particle or the grain is called as the aggregation of the unit cell. Now it is very difficult. It is very difficult to restrict the size of the particle to nanometer range. Okay, because normally, because if it is a natural process, then we could have got the nanoparticles very naturally. Okay, we get the nanoparticles naturally also, but that is not so easy. Okay, normally what happens when the unit cell come together, when there is the aggregation of unit cell in all the 3 dimensions, this aggregation continues up to micrometer range. This aggregation continues, or if you measure the dimension of any particle, any naturally occurring particle, then the dimension of that particle would be of some micrometers. It should be in the micrometer range. Now we have to do something. So that the natural growth of this aggregation of unit cell in all the 3 dimensions should be restricted somewhere, so that the final size of the particle should be in the nano range. The final size of the particle would be in the nano range. Now there requires the skill, there requires the new technology. Okay, so this approach of synthesizing nanoparticle from the molecule level, from the molecular level or the atomic level, okay, is called as bottom up approach. Is called as bottom up approach. Is called as a bottom up approach. You can have a top down approach also. In the top down approach, you have a bigger bulk particle, you have a bigger bulk particle, and you cut this particle by some mechanism. You make the sections of this particle again and again. You cut the particle, you will get the smaller dimension. You again cut the particle, you will get the again smaller dimension. You again cut the particle, you will get the again smaller dimensions. Again and again you will be getting the smaller dimensions. So at some point of time you will get the particle with the dimension of the nano range. Then that particular material will also be called as a nanoparticle. So I think you must have understood the definition of the particle. Okay, particle size. Whenever we say the particle size, it means that it is a grain size. It means that it is a particle size which is the aggregation of the unit cell. Okay, and how to synthesize the nanoparticles, that is beyond the scope of this particular unit, so we will not go into detail. Just understand that naturally we cannot get the particle with the size which is in the nano range. You have to do something. Okay, you have to design some synthesis technique so that this growth of unit cell in all the directions should be restricted up to the nano range, Okay, then only that particular material will be called as a nano material. In order to do that, you have to encapsulate that particle. After achieving the nano range dimension, you have to encapsulate the particle with the help of some another polymer, another agent, etc. Such a type of agents are called as the capping agent. Okay, so if you want to manufacture the gold nanoparticle, okay, gold nanoparticle, the tendency of the molecule of the gold, okay, or the atoms of the gold is that they have to aggregate. Okay, they have to form the aggregation. So in order to avoid the aggregation of the various atoms of the gold, you need to put some chemical, okay, so that the aggregation process should be stopped, and then only you can retain the nanostructure of the gold, and in that structure you can get the different colors of the gold nanoparticles. You can get the different colors of the silver nanoparticles, etc. Okay, so this is one of the thing which is not included in the syllabus, but I think this must be understood, because until you understand this, the dimension or the definition of the particle size, you cannot understand what is meant by the nanoparticles. Okay, but again the particle size is in the nano range. So again the question becomes that how we are able to see these particles. So actually we don't see the particle with the nano dimension, with the dimension which is in the nano range. Okay, we see the bulk particles only. Okay, you see, suppose this is one of the particle which is having a nano range dimension. We can have another particle which is having a range of nano range dimension, another particle with the nano dimension, another particle with the nano dimension. Okay, and between all these particles you put some material, you put some capping agent, so that these two nanoparticles should not be combined or should not be clubbed together to form the one particle. Okay, these two nanoparticles should be separated from one another. How to separate it, that is a different criteria. Okay, so if you can arrange the things like that, so even if you cannot see one particle at a time, you will see all the particles at a single time, and when you see all such nanoparticles at a single time, then you will assume that you will, means there is a what we can say, there is our understanding that we are observing the bulk particle, but actually that is not the bulk particle. Whatever we see, we assume that it is a bulk particle, but inside that bulk particle there are so many nanoparticles. Inside that bulk particle there will be so many nanoparticles. So the actual nature of this bulk particle will be the nanoparticle only. So whatever we can see by our eyes, that is the bulk nature only, but that depends that whether the inside that bulk nature there are the nanoparticles or there are the normal particles. Okay, normal particles which are having bigger size. Normally all the bulk material will have the particles whose dimension is in the micro range, but the nano materials would look like a bulk material only from the outer appearance. Okay, but inside that nano material, inside that bulk material, there will be so many nanoparticles. Inside that bulk material there will be so many nanoparticles. Okay, so this should be understood.